it's under where it says bill and pay up here at the top of the screen. When I go to the top of the screen, you see under bill and pay, it has these three things you can do right here. The transaction system is used to look back and see what transactions were done for any period of time you want to do. The administration console is where you can set up if you have multiple offices. So this is not used very often unless you have multiple offices in the same city. And the online settlement report is what is being put into your bank account and where it's coming from. So something you really want to be able to know about. And everybody's got a username and password to get in there. I'm going to show you the first one here, transaction system right here, because if I go to there, you see it comes up and asks me for my username and password. I'm going to put that in here right now. Got it in there. And then it asks me for a partner ID. The partner ID is your PID number, they call it, under that where it says bill and pay. It's a 10243. That's what mine is right there. When you log in from there, you will log in and it will let you then look backwards at any transaction. You can go to transactions, you can go to reports, different things. It also lets you put in transactions that are not utility payments. If you want to do transactions for maybe court fees or citations or property taxes, anything you want to do, you can put it right in here and put in an ID number you are, the year, and the amount, and you go right through the process and put in their information. Now, right now it says utility payments at the top up here. You can add other ones. You can add, like I said, citations, court fees, fines, permits, taxes, whatever you want to do, and you can take that information by credit card then if you want to. If you want to do that, just call me or send me an email, and I'll make that available to you. All right? So you're not limited to just utility payments. You can do any type of payment you want to in the city itself. All right? Any question about that part? Okay. Then up here at the top where it says reports, let me get back to the reports there. Bring it up here. When I go to reports up here at the top, you see it comes up and asks me for the report I want, what type of report. Whether I want detail or summary, cashiers, location summary. Again, those are for if you have multiple locations. The most one that's used more often than anything else is the transaction detail. When I click on there, I can give it any period of time I want to. If I want to go back from June 1, let's go back to June 1 here. Of 2022 to today's date, June 15th. Again, you can do any period of time you want, for a year, 2 years, whatever you want to do, and you can go to where it says go here, and that will show you every transaction that happened during that period of time. It'll have on here the receipt number was given, the transaction amount, the fee, and the total amount at that point. Now, people say, well, yeah, but who is that for, or what's that about? You know pretty much where you're looking for a payment for by what date it is at most cases. Again, my demo here doesn't have all the data you would have, but if you click on the receipt right here where it says 1752108, you click on there, it will come up and show you the receipt number. That was for Jessica Davis. Said she paid, she was approved here. She paid $85.37, and there was a $3 fee. It tells exactly what it was. And so you can look at that information if you want to. You can even print that receipt for her if you want to, but it's there for your records just to be able to look at that. All right? That's how you go backwards and see. If someone says, I made a payment on 6/14, and you don't see it there, that's because they never made a payment on 6/14. It would be there otherwise. All right? That's all you can take, because they might say, well, it didn't show up in your books, but you can go backwards and look at that. And, of course, when you're taking a lot of payments, and you're going to have a lot more information there, and they're going to be separated by the line right here, which is the line represents the days that you were taking payments at that point in time. So, again, it's pretty easy to look at and do, but it's a great way to look backwards at things. You could also go underneath where it says the payment settlement here, where it says, okay, you put in $500 today in your account, and you can find out what that $500 was for by going to the settlement reports or who it was from at that point. You'll have come up and say that today that your bank took in $500. It'll say what accounts that was for then by going to settlement reports. I don't have any settlement reports in mind, so I can't really show you on that one. All right? Also, one other thing I want to show you is this, that sometimes people will not want to have that e-check activated. If you don't want to use e-checks in your system, you can check that little box right here, uncheck it, and it will not be activated. To activate it, to take e-checks, you would just check that little box. All right? Now, that's if you don't want somebody to pay with a check at that point in time by online. All right? The other thing you can do down here is this. Down here you can see who is signed up for eNet Pay or Pay Online, and you do have a disable, enable, and remove. Now, this is kind of interesting about this. If somebody is constantly abusing the system, they keep on going in there writing bad checks or trying to do credit cards, they're being disapproved or anything else, you can just check them and you can remove them completely from the system, and they won't be able to come back in again. So that's up to you. You can also disable somebody. That's a temporary disable, not a permanent. All right, and then you can re-enable them if you need to. But that's a pretty good way to be able to handle that on the credit card transactions at that point. Any questions about that? Okay. So let's talk about meter reads and talk about the meter type of thing. Now, a lot of you have electronic meters, whether it be Badger or whether it be Neptune or whether it be Camstrap, Census, Beacon, whatever you have. You can have touch reads. In some cases, you have electronic reads where they drive around, or they can have the reads where they're taking them download from the internet. There's all types of ones that are out there, and you could probably even tell me about some of the ones you have. All right. But does anybody know where that music's coming from? All right. Me neither. I didn't. Where did that go from? All right. So anyways, it's handled by the program called HDS. It's Handheld Data Synchronizer. So in other words, if they driving around in their car with a laptop and it's collecting the data into the laptop, or it goes to a tower and it's collecting that in the tower or in the internet, or it have to go around and do a touch read, the HDS program is what is used to put that together. Let me give you an idea here. Let me open it up. And you see it comes up here. Now, up here I have my name and tell me whether I have a Scion or a Camstrap. I mean, you have 4 different types of meters you can have at the same time, because that happens a lot where you have part of your meters are Census, part of your meters are Neptune, or part of your meters are Beacon, the other ones are Camstrap. So the idea, of course, is you can choose on which one they are. When you choose them, it puts into the system what type of program it is. It tells you the route information down here, what the setup is at it. We do that for you, help you make that sure that it's set up correctly. And we can do it right down here. You have all the information, if it's multipliers on there or anything else. Like, for example, the Scion one here, for example, if I have that one, it tells me that I have what kind of port I have, port A on there at that point in time. I'm sorry? Was there a question? Nope. All right. I heard somebody that. We have a meter address what we want to show on the system. In other words, or do I want to show the meter, the customer name? And we'll go through this with you. And Rick Alley, who is one of our tech support people, will help you with that too as well. The idea of this is it should be very, very simple and easy for you to do. It's not very complicated. If you see up at the top up here, we have the routes that you have. Whether you have 1 route, 2 routes, or 10 routes. You would check which routes that you want to put onto which system. So if you're going to go out and read meters using a Neptune system or whatever it is, you would create the route by going down here where it says Make Route. When you go to Make Routes, that will actually create the routes for you at that point in time. And once it's created, it'll say 100% here. Then that is either taken out on the laptop or used on the USB drive, or is taken out on a touch read meter, or is taken out on a Scion meter. Whatever is done at that point in time, they go out and get their meter reads. Once they get the meter reads, when they come back with that, it's a very simple matter of going to where it says hook it back up and send the reads back to your UBMax program at that point in time. So if you hit send reads, that'll send all the readings right back into the program and into your UBMax program at that point. It's a very simple program, but there is a step that's in between there. The step in between there is where you on your tablet, or not tablet, but your computer, create the file from Neptune or Census or Badger that we can read. All right? That's all that is a matter of. It's a pretty simple way to do it, and we can walk you through it. If you haven't got it now, we can certainly walk it through through at that point in time. But it should be just a case of coming in here, make the route to load up the handheld, and after the handheld gets the reads, you send the reads back to the program. Great question? Yeah.
I have a question.
Sure.
Is there a backup on getting that hooked up? Because we're being told we can't do our own meter readings, so they always come in late, and the villages aren't happy. Because we're being told from Beacon, it's your fault. From
Yeah, I know.
Beacon, you know that, huh?
Here's the thing. There's no problem. Our program backs it up, number one. So let's assume for a minute that you go out and get Beacon's reading, and you come back in and you click on here where it says send the reads. The first thing it does a backup of the Beacon system. All right, that's the first thing it does, so that we have a copy of that.
But we can't even do this much so far.
Really? What?
No.
What city are you with?
Your company is doing all of our reads for us on the metered reads.
All right, what city are you with?
Telling us we're with the Village of Clifton, and we're with Beacon Badger Meter.
Now, this is notoriously happens all the time, where one guy says it's the software, the other guy says it's the hardware, and that. When we upload from your program, or from the readings into our program, we're only taking two things, really. We look at the route ID number, or the meter ID number, or what they call the N number. We look at that. We look at the meter reading and the date, and that's what we're bringing in. Only 3 fields in most cases. So it's not a real thing that we're trying to bring in a lot of data or anything else like that. So again, we'll double check it tomorrow with you at that point in time. But again, for any type of metering system you have at that point, will work fine on our program. All right. I want to talk a little about the program that we call UBSync. And that's a tablet program. Let me go ahead and bring that up here real quick. UBSync is a tablet program, and what a tablet program does, it allows you to take a handheld tablet, and in place of doing manual reads, let you walk around. Let me make sure that kind of get in there good. There we go. When you walk around, instead of writing down on paper or in a booklet, you can just use it as a tablet to put in those meter reads. I'll show you what it looks like by going to products right here, and then going down to here where it says UBSync. And you can look at this anytime you want to. It's right on our website, softlinedata.com, under products right here. And you see here's the view product brochure right here and pricing. When I look at this, you see it come up on the screen. We bring it over here. And it's a tablet. It looks just like this. It's an 8-inch tablet you can buy. In fact, these tablets are not expensive. They run anywhere from about $70 to about $110 on that. In different models you can buy. It's cheap enough that you can have 2 of these or 3 of them if you want to. It doesn't make any difference how many meter readers you got out. If you have 5 meter readers go out, they can have 5 tablets go out with them at the same time. If you have 1, you can have more than 1 route on each tablet. If you want a route on here, Route 1 and Route 2 and Route 3, you can do that at that point in time. The idea of this is a couple of different things. Number one, when you go out with this tablet, this is how it works. The guy wakes up in the morning. He's going to go out and read meters. He hits a button on the tablet. It downloads all the data about the meter readings into the tablet. Their previous meter reading, their average usages, and that would be downloaded into the tablet automatically without them leaving their home. All right? It also is a situation where it doesn't not load any financial data. So nothing's being downloaded financially, just the information about the meters and that. And you can see on here, it has a place where they can enter the meter reading right here, and below that it shows the actual usage that happened at that point in time.
Hey, Dennis.
Yes.
When they're out in the field, do they need internet then to do it on the tablet?
No, they don't. They only need the internet for the time that they download or when they upload.
Okay.
All right. So here's how it would work. So
well, see, we just got our tablet in today. Ours is not even set up yet or anything, so we've got get all that done.
No problem. That takes about 5 minutes. I'll show you how to do that. Not a problem.
That'll be fine. We can do it another day too. We can do it tomorrow.
No problem. So with the tablet, it comes up in the order he walks his route. If he has 100 people he's going out and read the meters, it comes up in the order he walks his route. So the first one comes up, he puts the meter reading in here. It shows the usage down here so he can see whether it's abnormal or not. If you think it's okay when he hits save, it automatically brings up the next customer in the order he walks in his route at that point in time. All right? So it's really kind of nice to do it, and it does, it's a little bit easier to do instead of having writing down on paper where you may put a different number in there, or he may put, can't read it because it's in pencil, or it gets wet or something like that. It makes a big difference. It also has a couple other things that you can do. Down here at the bottom, you can see it has pictures, a camera right there. It can take pictures of the meter if it's broken, or take pictures of the area he can't get in to read the meter because there's so much in the way of that point. So he can take pictures of anything that he wants to at that point in time. It also will let him email back and forth to you or to the customer if necessary. All right? It will also let him write notes down on that. Now, this is not an expensive deal. You can see down here the tablet itself, like I said, is only $70 to $100, and it depends on how many customers you have. If you have up to 500 customers, it's a flat $260 a year. Now, that's not per tablet. You can have $260 a year and have 5 tablets if you want to. It doesn't make any difference. It's only the $260 if you have less than 500 customers. All right? If you had 5,000 customers, then you're looking at $570 a year at that point in time. Now, we also have a website. Let me close this. That's called UBSync. So if you go to www.ubsync.com and bring up that website, you'll see it has only to do with UBSync, and you have tutorials on here, you have features, you have pricing, everything else is on here for you. If I go to tutorials, for example, you'll have, I think it's 5 different videos that show you how to work the program. All right? Really kind of nice to be able to do that. It's called ubsync.com, and here's how to purchase introduction to UBSync, syncing UBSync with UBMax, entering meter reads here, full stop. And I'll show you what the features look like here. If we go to that one, you have screenshots. Here's where you can where you log in. Here's where you can see your first route, and here's where you can see the first customer, and you can take a picture of that, and you can see also the information, which includes the previous usages, the previous reads, the high read, the low read, the average read. You can see the meter ID numbers on there, whether it's a primary meter or a secondary meter on that one. And then over here it shows you that you can do it also what we call not a detailed view, but I think it's called a summary view, where it comes up and has each customer right here, and you just go right down the list and put the meter readings in if you want to at that point in time. Below that, we see over here we can choose a different route if we want to, and here's where we can import or export a file to the computer at that point in time, to the tablet. Then over here, if it's too hot, too sunny, yeah, go ahead.
I'm a little slow. So,
Yep.
When we first signed up, we said no to this.
Yep.
But this is simply the guy that goes out and puts it on paper, and then I've got to input it from there. This takes it in one step.
That's correct.
That's
the
what I
next
thought.
thing.
Wow.
Yeah. And then if it's too bright out, this will turn to a black screen so you can see it a little bit easier. But also then what happens here is that when he's all done, let's say he goes out there and he's got his meter readings all done, he hits another button on the tablet, it will send all the meter readings back to your computer then, so you don't have to do any data entry.
That I like.
I have a
Okay.
question.
Yeah.
Sometimes he has problems with a couple of them. So what, is there like a button on there that he could have like highlighted or something that we should double check something on it or
Yeah,
whatever?
first of all, if he's having a problem, he can bypass that one. If he bypasses that, when he goes back at the end of the day, it'll come up there, and he can write a note about that if he needs to, or something like that. But you have ability to write notes on here, too, as well, and those notes can be transferred back to the program.
Oh, okay, okay.
All right. Now, we did something else, too. We just did something else. I can't remember what it was. We did something else. When you go to a meter reading, you'll find that it'll have a little asterisk on that meter reading. That means there's a note on that meter reading. You'll see that in UBMax, not on the tablet. In UBMax, when you bring up a meter reading, if it has an asterisk on there, that means there was a note on there.
Wonderful.
All right? So that's something we just put on the system at this point in time. But again, these are really kind of nice because again, it stops you having to do any data entry. It stops him from having to come in the office with it and download and write these things down. Where he just click on the from home, hit the button, and sends all the meter readings into the tablet. And when he's all done, he hits the button and sends all the meter readings back to your computer. Then.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it really works nice. You know, there's a lot of different things. People have a lot of different things about the tablets. I've used tablets that are $70. I've used tablets that are $60. I've used tablets that are $100. You know, and you can buy a tablet for $500. But there's no sense in that. If somebody drops his tablet and he runs it over with a truck, it's only $70, $80 to repair that. It's pretty simple, or replace that. It's a pretty easy way to do that. So if it's a $500 tablet, nobody wants to replace that one. So again, very simple, very easy to do. And like I said, if you go to ubsync.com, like I did here, you'll be able to see all the different features of the program. If you go to where it says downloads, this is where you set this up. Now this will be we'll give you a code to set up a tablet. Now whether you buy the tablet or we buy the tablet for you or get it for you, doesn't make any difference. All right. Now, and then the pricing goes into the pricing here of the levels, and it's only roughly, if you less than 500, it's only about $20 a month, which is that same 260 we're talking about there, or $30 if you have 1,000 customers. So it's right there for you to look at if you need to look at that. But again, it's simple to do, easy to do. Under contacts, it's the information. If you want to get some information, go in here and you can tell it what level you are, and then we can contact you and get you set up for that. All right? So it's not a big deal. It's a great little program. We've had right now probably 200 people are using that tablet out there right now, and they're enjoying it like crazy. So that's good. All right, so we've gone to that. I've got a couple more things I want to talk about. I want to talk about estimation of meter reads. Now, it used to be a lot more happening when you had to estimate meter reads, when it was a situation where you had to estimate them because you couldn't get out to read them because there was rain or snow or floods or whatever have you at that point in time. It's not so much anymore, especially if you have electronic internet services to download meter reads and that. But I want to explain to you a couple things about meter estimations and usages. If I go to maintenance up here at the top and come down to company setup and then go over to where it says meter readings, this is where you set up what your meter reading estimation will be. In other words, if you estimate one, you don't want to estimate it high, because if you do that, then the next month you have to give them a credit to get rid of that amount that they want to pay. So you always estimate low. And you can see the estimation here says average based on 3 months to 70%. That means if they use 10,000 gallons a month for each month for 3 months, 30,000 gallons, it'll estimate it 70% of it one of those months for an average. So in other words, you only charge for estimating at 7,000 gallons. It's a lot better to do it low and have it system make itself up automatically than you having to go back and give a credit to somebody. All right? So we always try to do it that way by doing it. Now, it depends on what type of area you're in. In a area like in Minnesota, we have these seasons like the summer, fall, winter that's very strong. Obviously, during the winter months, we're not using water to wash the cars or water the grass or anything like that. So we can change how we want to do this. If I'm in a place where it's year-round, I can base the estimate on a year if I want to, or 2 years. But normally you're going to go a 3-month deal, so you have a more accurate picture of what the estimate should be. All right? Any question about the estimating meter reads? All right, so let's go back to the meter reads for a minute here and bring up the meter reads. I'm going to load them up here. And if you notice there's a little calculator on every one of these screens right here. And that, if you hold your mouse on it, says estimate usages. When I click on this button, if it's only one account that I want to estimate, I just click on here and estimate that usage. I'm done. I just move on to the next one at that point, put the next one in, or the next one will be there. Because if you upload your meter readers from electronic readers or from that tablet, you may have some that are blank right here. And you don't know what they are, then you would come in here and you would estimate them at that point. Now, our program will let you estimate everybody. By clicking on where it says estimate usage over here, it will estimate everybody at 70% of what their average is. Again, I will click on estimate usages just to show you what it looks like. and that's all there is to it. Pretty simple to do. If you
Dennis.
don't think, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so for the people that you're doing the estimation on, is there somewhere in the program that'll show you that you used an estimated the last time?
Yes, 2 places it will be. First of all,
Okay.
when I estimate it on their bill, there will be a letter E at the end of their meter reading. All right, so they'll know that it's estimate on the bill. And in our program, if I go ahead and go bring up a customer here, I don't think I have any estimates on here, but let me go in here. And I'm gonna if I go to usages right here, there would be an E in here if I estimate them, where it says abnormal, yes, no, or estimate. So it'd be on here, but it would also be, like I said, it's going to be on the bill. If I estimate it here, let me go back to here. Bring it over. Oops. It will be right here after the gallons of that. Right at the reading, it'll have a letter E for estimate right there. Right after the reading on there. So they will have a notice, and you will have a notice too as well at that point. And of course, you will have one on your meter reading sheet that'll tell you that it was an estimate too as well. That answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
All right, not a problem. So, changes of meter readings. Let's go back to that meter reading. Let's post them all right now. Load them up, and I'm going to estimate them all. And I'm going to go ahead and post them. Once I post them, doesn't mean you can't go backwards. If you want to go backwards and bring up a single customer or people on a certain route, or you want to bring up the entire customer base again, and you can bring it back up, you can change that meter reading if you want to by clicking in there where it says current. You are not allowed here to change the previous meter reading here. You can only change the current meter reading. So if I want to change that 114316 to 116316, I can do that. And when I hit enter anywhere on the screen, it's going to change from 54 to 74, just that simple at that point in time. So if you found out you put a meter reading wrong, and somehow you can go back and do that. The other point being is that what about the previous meter reading? We don't have a lot of previous meter readings being wrong, except when people first get the program, they put the meter reading in, and it may be wrong when they put that first meter reading in. To change that's a little bit different. You have to do that. Let me go ahead and post these. And I'll go back down here to a customer. And let's bring up Jessica again, my favorite here. And go down to where it says usages. You'll see right here it has a not billed one right here. This is the last meter reading we did right here. And it has a little X on here. And I can change the previous reading. I cannot change the current reading here. I can change the previous reading here by clicking on here. I can actually change both, but in this case, I only want to change the previous. I click on the circle here in the front and say adjustment, and I can change that previous reading. Now, you got to be a little bit careful about this because changing reading is going to really affect the dollar amount on the bill. Well, if the reading is correct, don't try to manipulate the dollar amount of the bill by changing that reading. That's right, because if it's right, then you should not change that at all. It's going to mess it up somewhere down the road. If you say, well, their bill is too high, I want to give them a better deal on that, and you change that current meter reading down to 116573 at this point in time, where they're only going to get charged for 1,000 gallons then at that point in time, you can see in here, or down to 116 here. Actually, it's a little bit more than that. But you can see you could change that. If you change that on there, it's going to change the usage at that point in time, which would change the bill. Very important to understand what you're doing when you go to change meter reads. If you're changing meter reads, it's usually for a particular purpose. They had a leak in the system, and the meter reading was wrong, and that's not a change. That's an adjustment at that point in time. If I put a meter reading in last month and it was wrong because I hit the wrong key on that, yeah, I can understand that is wrong, but that's also an adjustment. When you go to change your meter reading, it should also happen when it's not billed, if you're going to change something like that. Otherwise, it should be an adjustment. Now, we talked a little bit about adjustments yesterday. Just going to go over that real quickly. So if I want to change usage, I click on water and say make an adjustment. When I say that, I say adjust usage. It will come up and let me change that usage there. But it's an adjustment usage. It's not a dollar amount usage. It's adjustment usage at that point in time. really important to understand that because it could really mess up a lot of systems out there. When you go ahead and say, I'm going to drop that down to 102, now you got a situation, if I put in here 102, that'll go around like a speedometer and charging for 900,000 gallons. So you got to be a little bit careful about that. Normally, a meter reads off by a couple thousand gallons. You can just do it right here. It won't be a problem at all. And if I do something in here and change this down to a different amount here, let's take that 1111 and change it down to 108,573, and just go ahead and do a adjustment here, and go ahead and save that. That'll come up to show the water and sewer adjustment. Now, that's where it's changing the usage, which changes the dollar amounts. If you don't want to change the usage, you just want to change dollar amount, then it's a credit or debit. And how that works is this. Let's go back, bring up Richard here. So Richard here, if you can see on here, owes quite a bit of money here, $88, and you want to give him a credit. You just click on here where it says water and say adjustment, and this time you go to adjust financial. And you can say, give him a $10 credit, minor leak. And then you save it. And it'll come up then as a credit or a debit, depending on which way you want to do it. And then you save it. It'll come up on the screen just like that. It doesn't change the meter reads, but it does change the dollar amount because it gave him a credit at that point in time.
Dennis?
Yes.
Okay, we've done this, but what's happening, now you see that it dropped the bill to $78.31, but when I go click on any of them and I want to reprint that bill for them, that amount doesn't change. It doesn't go down. The bill.
No, I'll tell you why. Let me explain why. I'm going to print the same bill. Here's the bill right here that it was done. I'm not trying to print it, and I click on print down here. Now, it could be the full bill card or the full page. It doesn't make any difference. So what happens when I go to print this, you'll see what happens on here. It comes up on the screen, and you're right. You can see on here the original amount of the bill. Let me move this over a little bit. The original amount of the bill, bring that back up again. Hold on. These computers. All right, let me go bring this up. Come on, mouse. All right, let me ring. Come on, mouse. Why is my mouse not working? Okay, here it is. Bring it over here. So I'm going to bring this back up on here. Come on. All right. Come on. There it is. So the bill was originally for $88.31, correct? For $88.31, correct?
Correct.
All right, and the bill I just printed out for you was the same amount, $88.31, correct?
Correct.
But look down here. It's going to be on everybody's bill. This bill has been adjusted. If you have changed the full amount, your adjustment will show on your next bill.
Oh, my God.
All right? There it is. See, here's the thing about that. You got to be real careful. You can't change past history. If I change that dollar amount on that bill, that means all your reports you did would be wrong. All right?
Right.
So here I'm just changing, telling them that the new balance is $78.31 right here, and you can highlight it or circle it, whatever you want to do, and then print it out for them. And that works the same way if we do the, let me close that one. If I click on here and do that email bill to them the same way, it comes up the same exact way and has that same message down here at the bottom. All right. Well, these things happen. Don't worry about that. But there it is right there. Because, again, you're right. You can't change the previous bill because that's going to remain the same. But you are telling them that it has been adjusted and the new balance is $78.31, which, of course, matches what is on their bill here at that $78.31.
Right.
All right. And that'll be on their next bill, by the way, too, as well. It'll show that they had an adjustment there of that dollar amount of the $10 on their bill. It'll be on the next bill showing that's what happened. It's the only way you can do it without changing past history.
Right.
All right, good. That answer your question?
It sure did.
All right, great. Is there any question from anybody else on anything right now? Well, I'm going to call it a day, and I'm going to record. This one's been recorded, so I will be sending you everybody a link to watch the videos anytime you want to. They can keep it on their desktop, and it'll be on a YouTube video. That means you can just watch it anytime you want.
Perfect.
Thank you, everybody, for being there today.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Dennis?
Bye-bye. Yeah.
This is
Mary from Buckland.
Yes.
I kind of got a different question. It's not for here, but is there any way, like when I sent out the late notices, I really kind of want to make sure that the late notice fee is on there, but you see the bill type thingy that you got on the screen now?
Yep.
But look like that, but then also, too, be able to show the shut-off date. Because the only thing is the new due date, and that's it. It doesn't say shut-off date.
Yeah, so we can do it a couple different ways. All right, let's go down here. I'm going to show you I'm going to go back in here for a second. Let's go to late fees for a minute, all right?
Okay.
So in late fees here, when I go to manage late fees, I have the ability to write a note on that on there, all right? And that can be called late disconnect or anything like that. And if I just go back to here where it says maintenance right here, and I go to company setup and go over here where it says billing info, then it has bill notes right here. See that?
Okay.
I can go in here and say add a new note here. Let's go here. Let's see, go up the top. New message. And you can say this pay date or shut up date. All right, and then I can put a message here. I have up to 144 characters. And I can say, let's see, how about you must pay by, and then you can put a date here, let's say 6/20/22, or services will be disconnected.
Okay, that'll work.
Hey, Dennis, with that, is there any way to change the color if we wanted to make it red so they can see it?
We're looking at that too as well. We are going to be right up where you're going to have over here the different colors that you would have, and you can change it that way. It's not ready yet, but it will be there.
Well, we can highlight it.
Yeah, you can do that too as well. But let me go back here to save this now. I'm going to show you what happens here. And note save. So when I go back here to do that, manage late fees right here, and I want to do the late fees here, and let's say I choose anybody has a balance of over 60 days, all right? And let me load that up. So I only got these 4 people. I can select down here and look down here for the shut-off. Let's see where to go here. Shut-off date. See it right there? So the shut-off date's right there, and I can tell them whether 2 up or 4 up bill card or use a full page one if I want to. And then when I go to print this, if you want to print this on here, you'll see it comes up on the screen. And here, you must pay by 6/20 or service will be disconnected.
Perfect. That's great.
All right. So that works out really good for you to be able. Yep. So
I got a question.
Sure, go ahead.
Whenever you print, you show your bill on there, it has the green.
Yeah, I know. That was my programmer.
But when you print it, it doesn't.
Yeah, that's because the green is just an image. It's not an actual what it's going to be. The green, it was my programmer printed that on there as an image, but it's not what prints on the paper or anything else.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
that's fantastic.
Well,
Love
good. No problem. All right, well, good. Is there any question for anybody else? I'd be happy to ask. Go ahead.
Thank you so much, Dennis.
All right, no problem. Any other
So
questions?
I'm from the Village of Hema Springs, and we get our our readings from the domestic water. Is there a way that we could get the readings from them without them sending it on an Excel form?
Yes and no. It depends on how good they are with cooperation. All right? Yes, we can get, if they will tell us where the data is, we can grab the data from that location.
Okay.
All right? Now, generally speaking, how are they getting meter readings?
I believe they go out and get them. I'm not sure what system they use, though.
So they can, for example, if they use Badger or if they use Census or Neptune, whatever file they get from them, they can send that file to you instead of sending you an Excel spreadsheet.
Okay.
And then once you have that file, then we can use it, do it, and upload it to our program automatically.
Oh, okay.
All right? Just ask them, say, what is the format you get your data in? Is it Camstrap or Census or Neptune? And whatever it is, then say, good, can you just send us the record of those meter reads at that point? And then we can upload it.
Okay. Because some of our customers are different. Would that matter?
No.
No.
By different, what do you mean? What do you mean by different, though?
Some of the people that have water accounts do not have sewer accounts.
Okay, no, that's only going to load up the ones that are relevant to it. If you have For example, if they only have sewer accounts, that's the only ones they're going to load up. They're not going to load up any water or anything like that.
Okay.
All right. So, no, that should be no problem. And we'll work with you on that, make sure it works out correctly for that.
Awesome. Thank you.
No problem. Any other questions?
Hey, Dennis, quick,
Yeah.
I have 2 questions. One, can we, if we wanted to put that, like, shut-off date or disconnect notice on, like, a bill that doesn't have late fees on there, can we do that to other, how do we do that with other bills?
Well, you can see right here, it says where it says show late fee on printout right here.
Mm-hmm.
I can uncheck that. Now, if I don't uncheck it, and if I go to print this, you'll see it shows up on here, and it shows me the late fee on there. See it?
Right.
Well, if I don't check that little box right there and go back to print again, this time it won't show that on there.
Okay.
Zero.
And I can still put, like, if you don't, pay your bill by this date,
Yes,
you're,
exactly.
okay, awesome.
Yep.
Awesome. And then one more question. I was trying to follow along when you showed how the little, where the, on someone's bill, if we did an adjustment and it showed, like, this is the adjustment on there. How did you do that again, if you could show me?
Yeah, if you go to do an adjustment on an account, and let's go back to meter reading, post meter reading.
Okay.
If you're going to adjust the ones that were red, that's a different story than if you're adjusting something else. Here,
This was like the financial stuff, so it showed like there was an adjustment on like the bill, and it was the financial part.
Right. So let's go down here to Russell here, down here. So right here, if I'm in here, if I choose what I want to choose, if I want to choose water and say I want to make an adjustment to water, I just check that little box in front and say adjustment right here.
Okay.
When I do that, it will ask me if I want to adjust financials or just usage. Financial, again, is like doing maybe like a $10 or credit or debit to the customer for a leak. But if you're doing a usage adjustment, you've got to hit on adjust usages. When you do that, it'll come up and show you both usages, the current one and the previous one. And fuck you. At that point in time. Then you can change, if the reading was wrong, and it should have been 122.417, you just put in here what it is, you just change that 3. Let's change 2, and right here, I think it was 22. Yeah, just change it like that at that point in time, and then you can just put in here adjustment, and then you can save it at that point in time. Now, remember, if you're doing, do you do water and sewer or just sewer?
Water and sewer.
All right, so if you're doing water and sewer, your sewer is part of is based off your water usage. Is that correct?
Mhm.
All right.
Yes.
So when you do it in our program here and you do adjustment and you save it, it will come back and give a water and a sewer adjustment, in your case, the same way. If you were only doing water, it would only do a water adjustment. But again, because of your case and my demo here, we do the water and sewer are kind of matched together. The sewer is based off whatever usage there was for water.
Okay.
Now, once it's done, it's there. Now, it doesn't mean if you're wrong, you don't think it's right, you can remove it. By the way, if you click on here, you can go back here and say, well, remove this one adjustment for water, and you can go here, remove. Spell it right, that would help. Removed, and you can save it, and that'll take care of that one off there. And then you can do the next one, just remove that one too. You have to remove them individually at this point in time on that one, because it could be different. All right, and then you just save that, and that takes them off there. It doesn't affect your financials at all at that point in time.
Okay.
Then you go back and you can do it again if you want to.
And then when I need to show them on the bill, do I just click it and then it should show up on their bill as the usage was adjusted?
Yeah, it will actually show that. And again, if I go here, let's go to somebody else. Let's go to Mary Boston. All right, so let's go to Mary here, and I say here, I've done this. I'm going to do an adjustment to hers. When I go to do an adjustment right here, and you see if here, if I go to adjust usage, it shows me the usage I put in here. Let's go with let's go to 1.9. All right, so there I go in there and put adjustment, ADJ, and then save it. So there it comes back now. If I reprint the bill at this point in time by clicking here and go to print the bill, whether it be a full page or a bill card, it doesn't make any difference what it's going to do. Now, they had usage that was up in the neighborhood a lot higher. Now it shows what the usage is now is only 57. It was additional 4,000 more than that here a minute ago.
Okay.
But again, it shows that, and then it shows here that it was adjusted down.
Perfect. Thank you so much. This saves a lot of time for me because we do a lot of pool adjustments.
Well, there's something different then. I'm going to show you something different about pool adjustment.
Okay.
Because sometimes pool adjustment, you should not change the usages. You just want to give the customer a credit for what was. You don't want to charge them for the sewer that goes in that way. Is that correct?
Right.
So let's take somebody else then. Let's go to here. Now I want you to show you a better one here. Let's take Betty here. So let's say Betty here on here had filled her pool up. All right. Now if you look at usages, now this is not a lot, but it shows that she used 7,139. Okay.
Mhm.
But you want to give part of that back to her because she put 3,000 gallons in her pool, as an example, all right?
Okay.
So what you do is this. You click on that sewer only. You don't click on water. You click on sewer. And you say, make an adjustment. When you do that, it'll come up on the screen, and you say, adjust the financial here.
Okay.
Right? When you do that, it's going to come up and show you that you charge a $36.50 for a sewer, and then you can click on this little calculator right here. See that?
Right.
And it'll say usage calculator. You could say, there's how much usage they had. 10,199 gallons was the total for this time, all right? And you can say, well, I don't want to charge them that much. I only want to charge them for 5,000 gallons, all right?
Mhm.
And then calculate that, and it will calculate how much of a credit you should give them. In this case, it's only like $6.50. And you say, close. It comes up and says $6.50. You say pool fill.
Okay.
And then you close it by saying save, and what it'll do is take that much money off there as a pool fill.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
And then at the end of the summer or that, you want to get a record of all those ones that are pool fills, you can go into the reports and just ask for the pool fills then, and you'll know exactly how much you gave everybody.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. Thank you so much. This helps a lot.
All right. Great. Any other question from anybody?
Nope.
All right. Well, then I'm going to call today and say, everybody, if I don't talk to you between now and Friday with the other two, have a good weekend, but I'll be sending everybody out a copy of Monday, Tuesday, and today's webinars. Thank you.